All right, people. Story time. This was almost 20 years ago, so my memory might be a little hazy. With XCOM gone and no sign of any survivors from HQ, I had somehow fallen in with a couple of other misfits the aliens hadn't managed to kill yet. We mostly kept our heads down and scavenged what we could. Until one day we found a map. A map claiming to point towards a human sanctuary. A gathering place for those of us still out there. We were suspicious, of course, but we didn't really have much else to lose. 5 minutes in either direction and we would have never met. But for whatever reason, my little group seemed to get along pretty well. We weren't much more than wandering vagabonds at that point, but the map gave us a purpose. Something to work towards. That meant moving through occupied territory, though. So this was sure to be a test of our resolve.
Explorando.
I had been moving in the fringes, surviving on whatever I could, wherever I could. Truth be told, I had just about given up on everyone by then. Our so-called leaders had already told the world the fight was over, and I was in no position to convince anyone otherwise.
Posición confirmada. Blanco neutralizado.
I could use the exercise.
It's still moving. Nos disparan.
I don't remember all the details, especially how I made it out of the base back then. I woke up in a smoking pile of rubble and crawled as far as I could. Beyond that, it was a lot of dark, bitter days in between.
Heading to that location. Target down. Burning through ammo fast.
Órdenes confirmadas. En marcha.
Rolling out.
Guardia.
We had hoped we could scavenge a few supplies. Maybe find something to eat at the diner. Unfortunately, the aliens didn't give us a whole lot of time to look around.
Recibido.
Moving. Good to go.
Poniéndome en guardia.
I'm on it.
The flank of my position.
strange to think what it was like back then, before Advent became the front. There were plenty of aliens, but a lot less barking. Stranger still is how quickly people forgot what the real faces of the war looked like. You wouldn't think the novelty of alien invaders would ever wear off.
Entendido. En movimiento. Eliminado. Ya me queda poca munición.
Taken care of.
On it. Help! Help! Someone help!
In the early days, the Faceless weren't even disguised half the time. And there were all kinds of silly-ass rumors about shape-shifting animals, vehicles, all kinds of things. That made trust even harder to come by among strangers.
Confirmed.
Back online. Hostile neutralized.
The first day went well, but now the aliens knew we were up to something. Our first stop yielded a few decent upgrades, but nothing that was gonna set the world on fire. And there was only so much we could take with us. We had to travel light if we were gonna keep up this pace. We had no idea who made the map in the first place, but if there really was some kind of hidden sanctuary out there, I wanted to see it for myself. The map was steering us right through town, but we figured maybe we'd creep through the cemetery instead to keep things quiet. I tried to take a few notes just in case we forged a new path. If history was going to be written by the victors, then I at least wanted to have something ready just in case we finally got our act together. We were all a little suspicious, but we managed to pick up another recruit near the cemetery. As risky as it was, we needed all the help we could get, and I wasn't worried about splitting the gear another way. Once we got close, the aliens were all over us pretty quick. What we found was difficult to face. Not even close.
Heading to that location. It's down.
Voy a la posición designada. Poniéndome en guardia. Afirmativo. Come get some. I got nothing. ¡Matar!
In the 2 years or so since we lost the base, I hadn't heard so much as a peep about XCOM, much less run into any familiar faces. Most people never knew we existed in the first place, so there wasn't a whole lot of point in asking around.
Target neutralized.
Tell your friends who sent you. That's affirmative. Got it covered.
Me dirijo a la posición indicada. En guardia. Voy hacia ese lugar. En guardia.
I'd seen a few zombies during the early days of the invasion, but not like this. Not up close. They were human once, but we didn't have any choice. The last place you want to run into a bunch of psychic aliens is a cemetery full of fresh graves.
Me dirijo allí.
I'm already gone. Move into position.
Órdenes confirmadas. En marcha.
Scanning.
Poniéndome en guardia. A ello voy.
I'm on it.
I'm not sure I ever really believed in the prospect of finding survivors, and the weapons my team were after weren't going to do much on their own. Notice how I said team? That's when I started to realize what the actual payoff here was.
Heading out. Orders confirmed. Moving out.
Posición confirmada. Affirmative. Covering now. A ello voy. Afirmativo. Cubriendo.
Overwatch confirmed. You hear that?
I hadn't felt a sense of camaraderie in a long time. Most people were respectful of the surviving war veterans that were still out here. Some might even offer us a friendly smile. Still, I ran into plenty of people who couldn't do anything but blame us. Soldiers, politicians, doctors. We had all failed someone in one way or another.
On the move. Enemy eliminated. Running dry.
Me muevo a la posición. Ajustando miras. Recibido. Muerto.
I'm on the move. Missed! Still up! This looks unlikely!
We had spent a fair amount of time together, but my new friends didn't know much about my background. To them, I was just an ex-military survivor, another broken-down veteran. As time went on, I think they started to piece it together on their own, and I didn't mind keeping them guessing.
¡Cubierto! Me quedo sin munición en el arma.
I'll get him next time. Out of ammo here! I need a hand here! Another notch! Won't happen again. Who's got a med kit?
I got to thinking about all the people I know for sure didn't make it out of HQ. Assuming the aliens haven't tried to clear it out, that mountain is the final resting place for a lot of good people. I'd always hoped to go back there one day and put up a marker, or something at least.
Nada. Me quedo sin munición en el arma. Confirmado. Necesito munición.
I'm ready.
Blanco fallado. No tengo munición. Cargada y lista. Enemigos pacificados. Moving to designated position. Hostile neutralized. ¡Se han dado! Got me! Creo que necesito ayuda. ¡Medic! Hostiles pacified!
On reserves.
Sí. Blanco eliminado. En marcha. Atiéndelos. Fuego intenso en esta zona. Understood. Moving out. Take this!
target location. Target down. I'm out of firepower over here.
The cemetery was rough, but my new recruits pulled together pretty well. We had gotten used to salvaging gear by that point. We'd picked through just about everything left on the alien bodies. The map was driving us towards what looked to be some kind of freight yard, but first we had to cut across the edge of town near a local dive bar. I remember being genuinely excited at the prospect of finding a nice, stiff drink. Unfortunately, the arrival of Advent had ushered in a new era of restrictions and bans, which meant pretty much anything that you might consider fun was outlawed. Still, there was a chance I might find something good out there in the boonies. Things were quiet when we showed up, but it looked like we had just missed the action, with all the hallmarks of an Advent sweep gone south. In those days, they were rounding up stragglers pretty aggressively, and it didn't take much to provoke a fight. We never did find out who it was, but odds are they were either convinced to move to a city center or dumped in a mass grave somewhere.
Not good!
Focus!
Okay, I'll go. I definitely got that one.
¿Qué hay ahí? Está muerto. Tiene que estarlo. Si tú lo dices. Está muerto. Tiene que estarlo.
By now, we were starting to work pretty well together, and my little team had already racked up a respectable kill count by the time we moved in on the bar. That was the only explanation I could come up with, because it didn't take long for a whole lot of aliens to close on our position.
Stepping off.
Si tú lo dices. Supongo que está bien. Guardia.
I'm watching.
Afirmativo, cubriendo. Daño negativo. Pruébalo antes de acercarte.
There were still some independent businesses out there trying to survive the occupation back then. In a few areas, things almost seemed normal, but Advent wasn't having it. Constantly changing restrictions on unauthorized food sources made it almost impossible not to move to the new city centers.
Running on reserves here!
Heading there now. Go on, head to the ship!
If you say so.
Afirmativo. Oh, vale, voy.
On Overwatch.
En guardia. On Overwatch.
Yeah, I didn't get it.
A ese le he dado fijo.
Finding a drink wasn't easy, but the good stuff was still floating around out there in the territories. All highly illegal, of course. If you couldn't trade for it, you could always try your luck in the abandoned cities. A lot of people disappeared chasing vices of the old world back then.
Supongo que está bien. ¡Todos a cubierto! Enemigos neutralizados. Te haré caso. Ya puedes irte. ¡Sin cargas! ¡Se están moviendo! ¡Flanquearme! ¡Nos disparan!
Advent was still in the early stages of establishing itself as the new global front. But we ran into some of their first troops that day outside the bar. I was pretty confident we'd come out on top, but even I was impressed by how well we handled these guys.
Nailed him! ¿Le he dado, no? He recargado.
You ready for me?
¿Qué hay ahí?
We didn't have the slightest clue what these Advent goons were barking about back then. Not that it mattered. The more of them we took out, the more I started to see that with the right people, there was still a chance we could make a difference out here. We left the bar sober but fully intact. I couldn't really complain about the outcome. We were able to pull some usable armor vests and PCS components from the Advent units near the bar, but there was no sign of anything I recognized from XCOM. Past the bar on the outskirts of town was the freight yard. And according to the map, this was where the sanctuary was supposed to be. We found some old trail markers, symbols people called the hobo code back in the day. None of us actually knew what the signs meant, but we got the distinct impression we were being warned to steer clear. We had already come too far, and if the aliens had gotten to these people, we had to know for sure. The freight yard hadn't been in operation since the war started. With few exceptions, interstate commerce had all but ground to a halt by this point. I'm sure the old boxcars made for a tempting place to hide when the aliens rolled up on the town. Unfortunately, if anyone had survived, there was no sign of them when we showed up. I can't say we weren't disappointed. There was no sanctuary here, and if there ever was, the aliens had done their worst.
Digo que está bien. Compruébalo antes de acercarse. I'm trusting you here. My mind is my weapon. It's dead! It has to be dead! ¿Qué hay ahí? Guardia!
Maybe they thought they could get one of the trains running again to leave town. We were never sure. But what we found was nothing short of a massacre. The aliens had left no stone unturned. I had seen a lot of things I never expected back then. But this was something worse.
Good to go.
Queda claro. Copy that. Vale, voy. Ven y verás.
If they move, it's on. Whatever hope our group had of finding a sanctuary here had all but disappeared. We were all knotted up, blinded by rage. We were hungry for a fight now. We wanted their whole damn army after us. And from what I remember, they were happy to oblige.
Vale, voy. Running!
If you say so.
Okay, I'll go. Allí voy.
I'm watching. Got it covered.
En guardia. Got it covered.
It was probably stupid of us to think we'd find some safe haven, some respite from the real world. We had all been out here long enough to know better. But even I had let my guard down a little bit just this once. Never again.
Te haré caso. What's over there?
What's over there?
¡Eso es!
I'm coming for you.
Rolling out!
Si tú lo dices. Not sure I can make it!
That one hurt a little. Incoming, over here! Watch the flank!
I'd like to think that at a certain point, some alien commander or advent officer noticed our little path of destruction, and just for that one instant felt a sense of panic. The map had led us through bigger and better targets, and we had met every challenge.
Target disabled! Enemies down!
I'm trusting you here. Incoming fire!
I guess that'll be okay. Your mind is your weakness. I got it, right?
It was a tough fight, but we made it out of the freight yard in fine shape. The squad was feeling good at this point. We pulled whatever we could off the aliens and scrounged up a few things from the freight yard before moving on. The police station was the last major landmark on the edge of town. Map aside, we knew people had flocked to police stations, army barracks, any place they thought might protect them from the aliens. A lot of people made their last stands in those places, and I wasn't looking forward to walking in on a massacre. Still, we had to know for sure. As we got closer, it was clear the aliens had already set up inside the station. Between Advent and the usual suspects, the entire place was crawling with hostiles. Whoever tried to hole up inside had definitely put up a fight. There were still fresh plasma burns smoldering when we got there.
If you say so.
¿Qué hay ahí? Okay, I'll go. Si tú lo dices. Affirmative, covering now.
Affirmative, covering now.
A ello voy. Moving to Overwatch. Todo cubierto.
If they move, it's on. When we got there, the police station was overrun with Advent troops. And they weren't taking any prisoners. Seeing what they had done to the station, knowing there had been people in there. If we were angry before, now we were motivated.
I got nothing.
Le he dado, ¿no? ¿Qué hay ahí? Por aquí hay tropas de Advent.
police were in no position to fight a war, much less an alien invasion. Don't get me wrong, a lot of them tried, but most of them didn't live long enough to do any real damage. The situation here was a little different, though. There were a lot of dead aliens piled up. More than usual, anyway.
Enemy down!
I guess that'll be okay. I got it, right?
I'm trusting you here. I think you're melting. It's dead. It has to be dead. Supongo que está bien. Venga, espabila. Ajustando miras.
Advent troops here! Got a piece of the armor! I need a medic!
Heavy fire in this zone! Me voy a achicharrar!
As far as I could tell, someone had gotten trigger happy with a whole bunch of plasma grenades. Which side was responsible wasn't clear, but someone had torn this place up. and it looked like everyone involved paid the price.
What's over there?
Te haré caso. Aquí, toma. Supongo que está bien.
Sí, vamos.
Se me está acabando la munición. If you say so. Taking fire over here! Eso no me ha sentado bien. They're trying to flank us! Están desplazando su ataque.
Taking losses, Commander!
Decirles a mis hijos que... badly wounded here!
The reality of it was, these people had a choice. They could have kept running. They didn't have to stop here. Didn't have to make a stand. But for whatever reason, I guess they had finally had enough. They knew what was coming, and they stood and faced it down, right up until the end.
That's it! Could use some ammo over here.
Vale, voy. ¡Eso es! What's over there? Target still up. in this zone!
If a bunch of civilians were willing to stand up to Advent knowing they didn't have a chance in hell, what would history have said about us if we had turned and run away? None of us had any intention of leaving that place before the aliens paid for what they had done.
A ese le he dado fijo. I guess that'll be okay. I definitely got that one. On reserves. On it. Go, get out of here.
Okay, I'll go. Ready to rock.
We didn't know it at the time, but I suppose this whole situation is even sadder when you consider most of these aliens are just pawns in the Elders' game. Not that I feel bad for them, but do you think the Elders care how many of these things we killed?
I nicked them! I'm out of firepower over here!
I'm trusting you here. I definitely got that one.
Si tú lo dices. Poniéndome en guardia. I'm on it.
Nothing we can do here. I guess that'll be okay. I'm all right. It's dead. It has to be dead.
Queda claro. Copy that. I gotcha. Go!
And that's why we need armor. What's over there? Check it before you get too close.
Every casualty, every loss, they just made me angrier, more driven to fight. No one was in the mood to stick around and loot the place, but we grabbed whatever we could on our way out. Things started to open up as we got away from town. We made a beeline straight for the farm in the hopes of getting a few hours rest. We knew at this point the aliens were going to come looking for us eventually. We had left a path of destruction that only pointed one direction. I just hoped we'd catch a breather before the next round of reinforcements showed up. We rolled into a nice homestead. Big red barn and all that. Kinda reminded me of the old family farm back in Kansas. But that's another story. And unfortunately, this one leads us right back into another big fight. In retrospect, we probably should have avoided any landmarks. But we were all worn out and not exactly thinking straight.
Go, go, go!
Go, go, go!
Te haré caso. Más vale que corras.
Let's move already!
Tired of waiting around. You want some more?
Scanning! Who's keeping score?
Being on the farm brought back a lot of memories. It would have been nice to find a quiet spot to rest for a bit. But we had kicked the hornet's nest, and they weren't about to let us sit around and reminisce about the old days.
Moving out.
I'm trusting you here.
Si tú lo dices.
Finally! Got it covered.
Let's move already. Who's keeping score?
Scanning. If they move, it's on.
Moving to Overwatch.
Missed the target. That's it.
The Andromedons were a surprise. We didn't know what to make of that diving suit they wear. Especially when it kept fighting even with that thing inside splayed out the front.
Okay, I'll go.
Venga, vamos, vamos.
Here I come.
Finally.
My eyes are peeled.
Move into position. I'm on it.
Got it covered. I'm on it.
Overwatch.
I remember hoping to avoid collateral damage at the time, but it was probably a good thing the farm was abandoned by the original owners. There wasn't a whole lot left of their barn after the fight.
If you say so.
Supongo que está bien. Here I come! I'm running low on ammo.
Overwatch confirmed. Tired of waiting around. Moving to Overwatch.
mucho en esta
Incoming
zona.
fire! Starting to get
I'm still
cooked!
not entirely sure what the aliens did with the tens of millions of cattle and other animals we had across the country before they decided animal husbandry was too risky of a technology for humans to possess. I know it's got something to do with those damn Advent burgers.
Moving to designated position.
I guess that'll be okay.
¡Vamos, vamos!
Roger that.
Let's do this! Let's do this!
Stand it fast.
Come get some.
With the aliens coming for us directly now, I had my concerns about what we might find at the end of the road. We could have stopped, gone our separate ways, but I wasn't about to break up this thing we had going, whatever it was.
Got it covered!
What's over there?
Yo me encargo!
Let's do this! Plenty for everyone! Multiple threats eliminated.
We made it clear of the farm despite the aliens' best efforts.
On Overwatch.
We found some odd weapons on the farm. Not the kind of thing you would normally find on Advent. Or anyone else for that matter. The aliens must have been using the dam as some kind of rally point or rendezvous. Because this was no patrol, no routine Advent sweep. They had brought out something special just for us. And to be honest, it was serious. If I had had any sense of self-preservation back then, I might have been worried about losing this one. I put on a brave face for the others. This wasn't the time to get shook up. The aliens were guarding the place like it was hallowed ground. With no survivors and nothing to salvage, we came here looking for a fight, and that's all we found. Among the squad, we all agreed. To hell with the aliens. If the dam was important to them, then we were going to take it away. Permanently.
Move into position.
I guess that'll be okay. That armor's tough! Let's move already!
Vale, voy.
I'll get him next time.
Psionically shielded.
Tired of waiting around.
At one time, the dam had provided steady power for the town and the whole county beyond. From what we could tell, the aliens had seized it to power some kind of portal. Missed!
Target down.
If you say so. That's it!
Te haré caso.
No need to ask twice.
Copy that. Come get some! ¡Me voy a chicharrar!
We had picked up a few upgrades along the way, but the aliens weren't about to give us any kind of technological advantage. They wanted to finish us, and they brought the guns to make it happen.
Good to go. Supongo que está bien.
Let's do this! Homing in! Where will you run?
Finally!
He's in my... I can't stop it!
I need some help! Over here!
As much time as I've spent trying to forget those days, you have to expect some of the finer details to get a little blurry. Thinking about it now, I'm pretty sure what we ran into back then was some kind of avatar. I remember the hair. Just take my word for it.
Here I come! I'm running low on ammo. A este le he dado fijo.
Got it covered. Tired of waiting around. Moving to Overwatch. Scanning.
We didn't consider it at first, but fighting on top of that dam was probably a bad idea. Tight quarters, plenty of things that could explode in our face, and the toughest aliens we had encountered so far on this little expedition.
Go help him out.
What's over there? Ready to rock.
Si tú lo dices. He recargado.
Finally! Scanning. I'll keep an eye on it.
Got it covered.
By now, my squad was probably the most dangerous group of alien killers on the continent. Except maybe for the Reapers. But I hadn't met Volk just yet.
Go medical. Go patch him up.
Advent troops here!
My mind is my weapon.
Ya, no le he dado. Come get some. Can't think.
Eventually, it dawned on me. Once we got through this fight, we'd have to figure out what to do next. Somehow in the heat of battle, I panicked for a second, thinking ahead to the possibility of losing my new friends. We'd just have to find someone else to pick a fight with.
¿Qué hay ahí? Aquí, toma.
I'm trusting you here. Shot wide.
Moving.
I'm ready. Overwatch confirmed. Already there.
Recibido.
Here I come. Overwatch.
Let's move already. We're green to go.
I'm on it.
Getting it done. ¡Ya estoy!
Double time. On it.
Let's do this! Overwatch! Moving to Overwatch.
I'm covering.
I've got movement. Heads up!
Advent forces sighted. Okay, I'll go. Grenade!
Supongo que está bien. ¡Bum!
They got me!
Finally! Who's keeping score?
Let's do this! There is no escape.
¡Persuade!
On the move.
Rolling out. I'm on it.
Oh, yeah. Affirmative, covering
I'm
now.
on it. On Overwatch.
Affirmative.
Corriendo.
Already there.
Location confirmed. Not good. Got it covered. Not even close. We're losing people down here! I don't feel so good!
What's over there? I definitely got that one.
We had done it. We made it through the gauntlet alive. We were feeling pretty good about ourselves. Nothing quite like seeing your enemies driven off before you.